Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today, I'm starting a conversation about a very critical and comprehensive book on the insecurity that has been going on in this country for a long time. The book is titled Beyond the Symptoms, Tackling the Roots of Nigeria's Insecurity. Beyond the Symptoms, Tackling the Roots of Nigeria's Insecurity. And it was written by retired Air Vice Marshal Shayo Olatunde, who is joining me today for the first time on Inside Sources. The retired Air Vice Marshal was formerly the Chief of Defense Policy and Plans, and also before that, he was the Air Force Chief of Policy and Plans. I'd like to welcome retired Air Vice Marshal Olatunde to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much for the privilege to be here today.
Thank you for coming. So I have, since this is your first time, I have a custom question I ask all my guests, that if you look at where Nigeria is today, what kind of future do you think is ahead of us?
Okay, I would say the future is bright if we can do the needful. And that's the essence of this book.
Exactly. And I've been reading the book, it's quite a very comprehensive one, and I see that you are very, very methodical. So I was wondering whether you're a professor looking at your method. But tell us a bit about yourself. We have introduced you as, you retired as the Defense Chief of Policy and Plans. So, can you introduce us to you? Introduce my audience. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Air Vice Marshal Shayo Olatunde, like you said, retired. I was a member of 39 regular course, and operational experience. I participated in Operation Lafia Dole.
Okay.
Also participated in Operation Save Haven in Jos and Operation Udoka in Enugu. Before then, I was instructor at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College. I also instructor at the Air Force War College, Director of Studies, Air Force War College, and Commandant Air Force War College. I was also a directing staff, that's instructor, at the National Defense College. So operationally, in terms of training, I have what it takes to write this kind of book. I'm a pilot in the Nigerian Air Force.
Okay, you're a pilot. Okay, so in those your operational experience, you were flying military aircraft?
Yes, military aircraft, particularly the C-130 Hercules, and then I flew surveillance aircraft to the DA-42.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into a little bit of the details of some of the things that you've written in this book, which I find to be very fascinating because of the way you dissected the problems. But before we get to it, I wanted to ask you that, from your own experience in the battlefield and as somebody that was in charge of planning, I imagine that some of those experiences will have informed what you have written here. But I want you to give us, maybe one instance where it was very clear to you that things had to change. We had to do things differently. From your experience while you were in service, was there a particular thing that happened that I said, we got to change this?
Exactly. There are many instances where I saw that the manifestation of insecurity in the country had become recurrent. Because as Chief of Police and Plan at the Defense Headquarters, anytime the Chief of Staff was not around, I had to stand in for him during briefing. So I could review all the briefing from the various operational theaters.
Okay.
While I was Chief of Defense Policy and Plan, the same thing. So I could see things clearly, and I could see that the manifestation of insecurity became very recurrent, telling us that, look, we are not addressing the root causes, we are addressing the symptoms instead. And that is why I wrote the book. Okay.
Now, and the reason why I asked that question is that, for the most part, a lot of Nigerians are just surprised that, how come our military, is, quote unquote, unable to solve this problem. This problem has been on since 2009, and I think it has even gotten to its severest now, in my view. And that's why that question is very important when we see somebody like you coming out to do this kind of very broad work to say that, okay, Did you experience stuff where you were inside, that made you to think that, things have to change? And I'd like to ask you one more question before we go into the book.
Okay.
Which is also one of the things that you said in the book, and we're going to get to it too. What do you think is the one, and there are several, by the way, but what do you think is in terms of the military, the military as an establishment, okay? What do you think is the most decisive thing that has to change in terms of the military? Because a lot of us have a lot of pride about the Nigerian military, but that pride is being questioned by the fact that this problem has persisted.
Okay, it's like there's no way I would talk about that without mentioning what is in the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you see that the fifth element in the house, according to the book, is defective defense architecture, especially in the area of jointness. There's no jointness. Jointness, you will see later, I'm sure we're coming back to it. Yeah. It's more than we are collaborating, we are working together. It's much more than that. It's based on frameworks.
And you think that is the most dramatic thing for the military as an institution?
For the military.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted to get that out, just to prepare the mind of our viewers, who many of us think that, we know that we have a good military. What's going on? But let's come to the book now.
From it, you see many other things will emanate from that aspect. That's jointness. Many things will emanate from joint procurement, joint training, so many things. Okay,
all right. So your book, Beyond Symptoms, Tackling the Roots of Nigeria's Insecurity, identified about 10,
actually 17.
Exactly. And I'm going to pull up the page. You analyzed about
17 drivers of insecurity. That's the root causes of insecurity.
Exactly. Now, and then and I'm going to read, some of those things, because I want us to have a very clear understanding. Pervasive corruption is number one. Porous borders, socio-political economic, socio-political economic is different from socio-political polarization.
Okay. So the Sahel region, maybe.
Okay. Socio-political and economic instability in the Sahel region. Yeah. Socio-political polarization in the country itself.
Yeah.
Ineffective police force, defective defense architecture, proliferation of small arms and light proliferation of unlight weapons, and then proliferation of illicit drugs, several expansive ungoverned spaces, youth board, skyrocketing unemployment, ineffective criminal justice system, quest for resource control, illicit war economy, poor land use policies, climate change, and unprotected national airspace. Those are the major things that you highlighted. And that's about 14, like you said. All right.
14 or 17?
Or 17.
There's supposed to be 17.
All right. I read the whole thing. Yes. Now, you now said that out of all of these, there are the major, I think, five
major
ones, which is pervasive corruption, porous borders, and the top 5 that I read. The first question I'd like to ask you is that in unearthing these problems, these root causes of insecurity, like you said, in unearthing them, what is your assessment of the level of understanding of this by the people who are taking the decisions of our life as a country? What do you think they understand these things? That's my question to you, Evans Mesha.
Okay. I think let me first of all explain something about these 17 drivers of insecurity, the root causes of insecurity, we call them. Actually what we did with the 17 root causes of insecurity, just to analyze, and then we determine how they affect one another to be able to bring out the vital few.
Right.
Those are the vital few, like we talk about the Pareto principle, that when a problem is caused by many factors, about 20% of those factors are contributing to 80%
of the problem.
Of the problems. So, and the only way you can determine those 20% is to determine how they affect one another. So, we analyzed the 17 drivers. We were able to come up with the 5. I did not base it just on my own analysis. I also did a survey.
Yeah, I
on the
think
specialists.
A very wide literature review.
Military and those, and all the security agencies, including security analysts.
Yeah, even
Dr. Kabir Adamu will bear me witness. Through him, I was able to get some security analysts. He gave me 4 others or 3 others to join him. They participated in the survey.
Okay.
So we were able to come up with those 5. And the first of them,
is pervasive.
That's pervasive corruption. The second one is porous border stroke on government space so that we don't keep repeating ourselves. The third one is that socio-political polarization of the country. And then the fourth one is the ineffective police force. While the last one, the fifth one, is defective defense architecture. Now, talking about whether people understand or not, you see that there is no adequate understanding of all these problems in the system. And that's why, you see that we take policy, we make policies, we take decisions without trying to determine the unintended consequences of those decisions and policies on the security of the country. There's no adequate knowledge.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that why I've written the book, that look, this is how to do things. If you are taking decisions, if you are making policies, you also need to do what they call risk assessment.
Okay. All right.
No.
So let's take them one by one, because the vital few and what that means, just for the benefit of our viewers, is those are the major, just like you said, using the Pareto principle, that you focus on the 20% that has the most dominant impact on the problem. Yes. So the first one, I find that in your book is the question of, you call it pervasive corruption.
Yes.
Now, I must confess that reading your book gladdens my heart that, some of the things that we've been saying here has been borne out as clearly what the situation is. I have, 2 major things that are important to me about the future of our country, that if you're going to get it right, those 2 things must be addressed. The first one is what I call corrosive corruption. I mean, you call it pervasive corruption. It's the same thing. That means corruption is everywhere. It has corroded the system. And, the second thing to me is poverty. So when I saw that you put pervasive corruption as number 1, based on empirical data, I thought that, okay, this is a book that knows what is actually saying, and very important. So I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to read portions of some of the things that you said here that is very important. But I wanted to ask you, are we able to confront corruption? Now, I served under President Buhari's government, and one of the things, that explained my own involvement is because he was very clear about corruption. And he said that if you don't kill corruption will kill us. So when this thing keeps recurring, it just goes to the fact that the man got that part right. Do you think that as a people, and I like your analysis because in the book you're talking about both government and the people, are we ready to fight corruption, AVM?
Okay. Even if let's say we are not ready, but the situations around us now will compel us to be ready. Like I said at the beginning, that look, the future of the country is very bright if we can do the needful. Yeah. So now, it's very clear now that corruption is one of the major barriers to our development. Yeah. So we have no choice but to fight it, even all over the world. But when you want to corrupt yourself, you want to do anything that amounts to corruption, you'll have counted the cost because you're going to pay for it. Yeah. So our own is with impunity. People will corrupt and they will do whatever they want to do, and they will still go. They may go scot-free, which should not be. So if there's no scapegoat, I think the situation, because if you don't address these problems, there will be. Yeah, we're not going anywhere. We can't go anywhere. So I believe that situation will compel us to do the right thing.
To do the right thing. Excellent. Now I'm going to read a little portion of what you said in page 183. When you were talking about identifying the vital few. On page 183, you said that so the vital few, which is those 5 points: corruption, porous borders, and ungoverned spaces. You put those together. Socio-political polarization, ineffective police force, and defective defense architecture. This is what you said about corruption. You said corruption emerges as the most dominant driver, arguably the biggest elephant in the room regarding Nigeria's national security challenges. Corruption exerts a pervasive negative influence on virtually all other drivers of insecurity that we have been identified in this book. So I wanted to ask you, can you give us instances of how this pervasive corruption, as if we don't know, give us instances as the expert, how does it affect the fight against insecurity?
Okay, now the issue is this. I want us to understand something about those, the 5 of them.
Yeah.
You know, they are like principal components. Well, you know, you talk about unemployment or poverty now.
Yeah.
Now, what happened is that those 5, if you work on them, once you are recording improvement in them, you see that other drivers will also be improving spontaneously. For instance, now, once you're addressing corruption in terms of all facets of our life in the country, that corruption has eaten deep into them, you begin to see improvement in them. Now, if you, for instance, now you are securing the border, and you're making sure that we are getting better secured on government spaces, you are securing them. What will happen is that you are freeing up the space for productive agricultural practices and other businesses that will alleviate poverty. Right. That will be reduction. So, you know, although 5 of them, because that's why I said that we try to determine how they affect one another, so that we'll be able to know the one, because without that, you'll not be able to establish the vital few. Right. So we did that. So they are like the major one that are one way or the other influencing others. If you are fighting corruption, you see that you'll be fighting other drivers of insecurity or root causes of insecurity simultaneously and spontaneously. Right. That's what I've seen. Not only in the security aspect, in all aspects of our life. Okay. You'll be seeing those things. Okay. Improvements.
Right. So we're going to get into the detail of that. And, you know, I'm concluding this conversation for the Friday edition. And in the Sunday edition, I'm going to be asking retired AVM Olatunde to give us a little bit more of this corruption problem as it regards, you know, security from some of his own experience. Because in the book, he also talked about issues of procurement. He talks about several other things. You know, that will be in the second edition of this important interview that will be continuing on Sunday. So thank you so much, AVM,
thank you very much,
for coming. We're going to resume on Sunday.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.